think I've talked about this topic like 1,000 times on this channel, but I kind of want to talk about it again, especially after the Vanguard beta, which, as you guys know, if you guys have seen my previous video, wasn't a big fan of it. I didn't absolutely despise it. I didn't think it was the worst thing I've ever played in my life. I'm still excited to play the full game, but had a lot of issues with a lot of different mechanical and design choices of the game, which leads me to believe I'm probably not going to enjoy the full game because, yeah, I had some issues with, like, you know, the performance of the beta itself, but I was able to understand in my head, like, okay, it's a beta, it's going to be better for the full game, so those issues were kind of just like, you know, back in my mind, but they weren't affecting my full experience, and I was really just mad about a lot of the design choices. I just feel like the design choices are going in a direction that I don't like, but I know other people like, so I'm able to be like, okay, it's not like it's a bad decision, it's just bad for what I want for the game, and no one else really understands that. But what I want to talk about today is the simple fact that we tend to enjoy games more when we're better at them, specifically Call of Duty, and we tend to not like it as much when we're not doing as good. It's not as simple as being good or bad at the game. It's more about your performance, because you could have a day where you're doing amazing and you're absolutely destroying every lobby. You could have another day where you're doing garbage and you're getting destroyed on. Now, that doesn't, you know, determine your skill level, because you could have been playing against better players at one point, you could have been playing against worse players at one point, or maybe you just had a good day or a bad day or whatever. Skill is very interchangeable. It's not something you can just say, oh, this guy has a KD 1.5 KD, therefore he must be pretty good. This guy has a 1.0 KD, he must be kind of average. You can't just determine that right from a KD, but you can kind of sort of, you know, make a decision off of it, be like, okay, he's probably a better player if he has a 2 KD or something. He's likely pretty damn good, but again, you have to look at more factors that go into it. You can't be so sure based off of that. But generally speaking, we tend to enjoy Call of Duty more when we're doing better, and we tend to not like it as much when we're not doing as good. And this is not just how I feel, this is how many people feel. I've asked many people, and I've also observed it myself. Now, I don't have full-on statistics to prove this, but I've seen it enough to the point where it makes sense why that would be the case, and psychologically speaking, it makes sense as well. Call of Duty doesn't really reward you that much for playing poorly. I know many people are going to say, well, wait a minute, they've been doing that for so many years. I mean, you have specialists, you have death streaks, you have skill-based matchmaking, you have all the different elements in like Modern Warfare, like camping, you have making the game have a really fast time to kill. All of that is not rewarding being bad. What that is doing is it's making it so bad players are more likely to do better. It's not making your bad performance enjoyable. It's not going, oh, this guy did really poorly, let's make him have more fun. No, it's just literally taking a bad player and being like, okay, let's make this game easier for you so you can perform better and so you can be that good player in the lobby and therefore have more fun. Call of Duty themselves, the developers themselves, know that this is the case. Why do you think skill-based matchmaking exists? It exists because they know that the game is not fun if you're not doing good. I experience this myself all the time. The most fun I have in COD is when I'm destroying lobbies, getting all sorts of kill streaks, winning the game for my team. That is what's fun. When you're getting destroyed by guys who seem like they've never seen the outdoors because they jump around corners, they do all sorts of quick scope, no scope stuff with sniper rifles, and they seem like they've literally never done anything but touch the controller in their life, and that's all they do is they have literally an Xbox controller tuck taped to their damn hands because they're just playing 24/7. It's not really fun to go against those type of people. There's a reason why so many people have an issue with skill-based matchmaking when they're actually good at the game, because they don't want to go against other really good players, because they want to be consistently destroying lobbies rather than having actual competition that's making it harder for them to do good. There's a reason people are so against skill-based matchmaking. I've said it like 3 times already, but I'm going to keep repeating it. And there's a reason why they still have it, because guess what? Majority of players are pretty damn bad at Call of Duty. Another thing that proves that this is the case, why do you think the Call of Duties that get the most hate from the majority of people, not just talking about like the online community, I mean like people in general, like the entire, like what games are just unpopular and people just stopped playing? It didn't even sell that well, to be honest. The games like Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, games with really damn high skill gaps. Like, you can say whatever you want, but I wholeheartedly believe that Black Ops 4 and Infinite Warfare have the highest skill gaps in Call of Duty history. I think Black Ops 3 also does, and I think Advanced Warfare also does. And some of those games were popular, sure. I mean, Black Ops 3 was somewhat popular, but it kind of died off quickly. And it was definitely more popular with the hardcore community, not really with like the casuals. They kind of just brushed off the game, thought it was kind of poo-poo. And then Infinite Warfare was by far the most hated COD until Black Ops 4 came out, and then that was the most hated COD. And both of those games have really high skill gaps. There's a lot of elements to the game that make it so you're not gonna do that good if you're a bad player. And that's why people like me really enjoy it, because I'm pretty damn good. Therefore, I'm doing better more often in that game than I would otherwise. And therefore, I'm enjoying my experience more because I'm doing better more, which makes sense. Then you go to a game like Modern Warfare, which, no offense to people who feel like they're very good at Modern Warfare, but the game really does not take that much skill to be good at it because of some of the stuff like the time to kill, and it really depends how you play, of course. Like stuff like rushing in that game is quite difficult. If you can rush successfully, I think you definitely have something good going for you, but for the most part, doing good in that game, it doesn't require much. If you just find a good spot to mount, or you just go around the corners ADSing, it's pretty easy to do pretty damn good in Modern Warfare, and a lot of that has to do with them lowering the skill gap in order to make it so, you know, players who aren't that good, so they can do better. And guess what? Modern Warfare 2019 becomes basically one of the most successful CODs of all time for that reason. Honestly, that's one of the main reasons why it was. You want to say Warzone, well, it's because of Warzone. Well, I mean, it was very popular before Warzone even came out. I believe it already was breaking records before Warzone even dropped. So Modern Warfare was already doing some insane things because the game was just so, like, it was random. Anyone can do good, really, and that made it so bad players can do really good. And then skill-based matchmaking was also in place, so therefore bad players, not only were they having easier lobbies because they didn't really need much skill to do good, but also they were only playing against their own skill level anyways. So it was like, oh, they were just doing even better. But then players like myself, again, I'm getting put into lobbies with people who are pretty damn good, and the game has just got a lot of random elements to it, so my skill doesn't even really matter that much. So I'm kind of it's just random. I might do good, I might do bad. It just depends on spawns, it depends on who shoots first, and a lot of different elements that don't really determine skill in any way, shape, or form, which is why I have such an issue with games like that, and why I prefer games like Black Ops 4, Infinite Warfare, and a lot of other Call of Duties that feel like they have a bit of a higher skill gap. It all goes back to the thing that I'm trying to get at in this video, that we tend to enjoy things more when we're doing better at them, and we tend to not when we're doing not as good. And the fact that I don't see people admitting this enough, like I see some people admit it, sure, but not enough people. Not enough people. I see way too many people who try to make some crazy claims about the game, saying, oh, I'm not enjoying it because of this or that. It's like, most of the time, it's just simply because they're not doing that good. It's literally such a simple explanation as to why they're not enjoying it. That does not mean that you can't have criticisms beyond just that, because you can. I mean, I did that for the Vanguard beta. I'll be honest, I wasn't doing very good in the Vanguard beta. I really wasn't. I had a couple good games here and there, but for the most part, I was playing probably the worst I've ever played in Call of Duty history. I don't know if that's because it was a beta or for other reasons, I don't know, but I was doing really poorly. But I had so many issues with the game beyond that I was able to kind of separate my, performance with those issues, because there's a lot of games where I was playing well, but I still felt like those issues were apparent, and I could kind of explain why I was playing so poorly for so much of the game. And a lot of the reasons or things I stated in that video, like for example, that rushing is kind of discouraged in that game because of the sprint out times for tac sprinting being really damn slow. So I felt like my main playstyle is not even really applicable here, so of course I'm not going to do very well. Time to kill was not as slow as I'd like it to be, so that made it feel a little bit more random. You can get shot in the back a lot more often. The spawns were also terrible in the beta, so that didn't help at all. A lot of reasons why I wasn't performing as well, but I understood the whole time that my experience is being bogged down by the fact that I can't even get like a decent KD any of these games because I'm just getting shit on, right? That was something I understood, and I wasn't gonna judge the game because I wasn't doing good, because that's not fair, but I could still see some design choices and stuff that I really don't like, and I think is also contributing to me not enjoying it. Then I'm able to point those out in a video in a more objective manner, even if it's obviously still subjective because it's still your personal opinions and preferences, but it's at least presented in a more objective manner. But when I see someone on Twitter saying a game is trash and they don't really give any reasons, they just kind of say, oh, the game's trash, this is trash, the maps are trash, 9 times out of 10, let's be real here, it's because they hopped on and they were getting shit on and they weren't having fun, therefore they stopped playing. That's all they did. I mean, not everyone's a video game critic, so not everyone really has the capabilities to, look at exactly what features and mechanics might be affecting their experience. I like to do that. I like to analyze these things, so at least I'm able to kind of do that, but not everyone's going to be able to do that. Not everyone wants to do that, and that's completely fair. You're completely, entitled to your own opinions all the time, but it definitely makes me not take a lot of opinions seriously when the only reason you don't like it is because you're not very good at it. You know what I mean? And this doesn't apply to everything either, because there's a lot of things out there that I actually prefer having a lot of competition, and sometimes getting shit on is kind of fun because it motivates me to do even better. An example would be Star Wars Battlefront 2's Hero Showdown mode. There's something so fun about that when you're going against a really good player and you really have to like go hard against him, and getting shit on sometimes is like, it's fun because it's pushing me to try to do better. And eventually when I do end up beating these guys who are really good, it's really rewarding. It's not fun to just destroy noobs in that game because it just doesn't, there's no lightsaber duel there when the noobs are really damn bad. Sometimes I feel that in Call of Duty if I'm playing like ranked modes or something, but most of the time, honestly, I'm just trying to pub stomp. So I really don't care about competition, and Call of Duty is a very different experience than a lot of these other games, which is why I think that's the case. And there's other games out there that are like more open world, like even Battlefield, I don't really think matters how good or bad you are because there's so many different elements to that game that can kind of spice up the experience, like the destructible environments and stuff, which Call of Duty Vanguard has, but it's not on anywhere nearly the same level as Battlefield, obviously, so it's not going to get that same fun spark that Battlefield has. And the only solution here, really, Call of Duty just needs to add more stuff that is more fun. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm really asking for, is just more things that you can do and not really care about how good or bad you're performing. I think a big thing is grinds, actually, because grinds are never something you do and care about performance. I mean, when people go for dark matter, they usually have a pretty good time going for dark matter, but unfortunately, dark matter grinds, at least in my opinion, the past couple years have been terrible. I don't like any of the challenges that they give you. I mean, in Cold War, they give you like challenges where you have to kill people behind cover. It's like, what is that? What kind of challenge is that? Long shots to me are stupid. You have Modern Warfare mounting challenges. It's just not good camo challenges in my opinion. They're not fun to do, but at least going for camo challenges gives you something to do where you don't really care about your game-to-game performance. You're not really caring about how good you're doing. You just want to unlock those things as fast as possible. So if COD had some more grinds to work for, I think that would definitely help this issue a little bit, because people would be more focused on those grinds instead of just, okay, how good can I do in this lobby? How many streaks can I get? How well can I pub stomp the shit out of this lobby? So I think that's really only the solution they can do, and other solutions just make things more fun and, you know, more interactive, I guess. And they've been doing that with the destructible environments, I think, for Vanguard, but that's not like going as far as they can go. You know, COD Ghost, I think, did it best, where they had these DLC maps with these crazy things. You had Advanced Warfare with these like map changing things like a tsunami or like an avalanche on one of the maps. Stuff like that, I think, spices up gameplay enough to the point where it doesn't really matter how good you're doing, you're still gonna have a great time. Or just, I don't know, this is going to be quite selfish, but if the games had a higher skill gap, I would at least enjoy it more, but I know no one else would, which is why it's kind of painful when you're like, I know what I would think would make COD more enjoyable for me, but I also know that that would make it less enjoyable for like 90% of people, so I don't know, maybe COD is just not something I'm going to have much fun with anymore, because it seems like they're trying to, you know, pander to the majority, which is what they should be doing. It's the smarter thing to do, but it definitely is hurting my experience, at least a little bit, and it is what it is. I don't know. I just want to hear what you guys think about this now, because I don't get why people try to deny this. They're like, no, that's not why I'm not having fun. It's a big reason why. If you're doing really good, you're gonna have more fun. That's just how it works. And people use this to kind of shit on multiplayer maps. They're like, oh, this map sucks, this map. Chances are they just did really bad on it, and they just didn't want to say anything good about it because they'd have a fun time playing on it when they were doing really bad. That's usually the reason why, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll see you on my next one. Peace out.